What is up, you guys? Welcome back to our channel. Today I'm going to be telling you guys all about my birth story. We already did the labor and delivery video, so if you haven't seen that, click down below. I will put the link in the description. I used to watch so many labor and delivery videos while I was pregnant before I had my baby. The more I knew about the process, the more comfortable I felt. But the crazy thing is as much as I prepared for a natural, and when I say natural, like I was still doing like the epidural and stuff. I just mean I was hoping to have a vaginal delivery. As much as I prepared for a vaginal delivery, it didn't happen for me. I was really disappointed. Obviously, I was so thankful because my baby was healthy. I felt like I didn't get the experience that I had hoped for. First, if you've never had a baby or if you didn't have a C-section, you probably wouldn't be able to relate to me on this, but I'm sure there are other C-section mamas out there who probably feel the same way that I do. I just wanted to do this video to kind of let you guys know how my experience went and why my delivery ended up in a C-section and what caused that. But for whatever reason, I'm glad you're here, and if you are new to our channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and join our family. So let's go ahead and get started. My pregnancy was amazing. I had a very smooth sailing pregnancy, no issues, none of that. I ended up getting induced at 40.5 weeks. My due date was the 17th of March, and I ended up getting induced on March 21st. I tried everything. Like, I really tried everything, and baby girl just didn't want to come on her own. And I've heard that that's pretty common with your first pregnancy. A lot of times first time mamas do have to get induced. It just, sometimes your body needs a little kickstart is what I've been told. And also, before I like get further into this, let me just state I'm clearly not a doctor or anything like that, not in the medical field. So if I say things wrong or get something wrong, don't come for me, because I'm just speaking from my personal experience. Anyways, back to the story. We had a scheduled induction. They got us checked into the room, all that good stuff. And once they checked my cervix, I was still only 1/2 centimeter dilated. So I had not made any progress since my previous OB appointment. So they ended up giving me Cytotec, a little pill that goes up into your cervix. It's supposed to help get things going, which it did. Once I got up to 1 centimeter, they were then able to start the next phase, which was the Foley bulb induction method. It's like a balloon that they stick up into your cervix, and it manually opens your cervix. And so it is very intense. It's making something happen a lot quicker than it's supposed to naturally happen because it's manually doing it. It makes for very intense contractions, and it's no joke. Once they inserted the Foley bulb, it was instant pain. I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. The Foley bulb was awful. They were like, this is gonna be pretty intense, so let us know if you want some pain medication. They were gonna give me some pain medication through my IV, not the epidural, because we weren't that far along yet. I went as long as I could, and I have to say I toughed it out for quite a long time. It was like maybe 45 minutes, but that doesn't sound like a long time. But when you're going through contraction after contraction after contraction, that shit feels like forever. Like, it truly was just excruciating. And like, I was having contractions 1 minute apart, and so like I just felt like I couldn't catch my breath, and I finally was like, I need the pain meds. Like, give me the pain meds. So they brought me the pain medication, and it just like was instant relief. I still could feel the contractions a little bit, but it was I mean, nothing like how it was. So I felt a huge relief after that. The Foley bulb method ended up taking, I think, like 3 hours for me, which was really good. I was making progress very quickly. They took the Foley bulb out, and that was a little startling. When they took it out, it was like these big balls that they pulled out of me. That sounds really like, that sounds a little weird, but I felt a huge relief after they took the Foley bulb out. Like, the contractions subsided like a lot. So after they took the Foley bulb out, they were going to allow me to eat a light breakfast before they started me on Pitocin, which was amazing because I've heard a lot of people, a lot of doctors don't allow you to eat once they've already got the process going. So then my water broke on its own, which was crazy because they had planned on breaking my water. Everything was going like amazing. They were like, this is great, your water broke on its own, your body just needed like a little push to get you started, and now everything's happening very naturally and quickly. So everything was like looking up, and it was like going perfectly, and we were so excited. After my water broke, they checked my cervix again, and I was dilated to a 4, I'm pretty sure. And so I decided to go ahead and get the epidural since things were progressing very quickly. And since my water broke, I was like, give me the epidural as soon as possible. Then we did the epidural, and that was fine. It was more like a psychological thing for me, like just knowing what was happening, but it really wasn't bad at all. I had Skylar sitting in front of me. I was squeezing the shit out of his hands as tight as I possibly could. I was sweating and Skylar was sweating. It was pretty intense, but the pain was like not bad. You just feel like pressure once the epidural is happening, but it is so worth it because after I got the epidural, I felt amazing, and thankfully I was still able to like feel my legs and stuff like that. I just wasn't feeling any pain from the contractions. Everything was going perfect. So they did start me on Pitocin. I was on Pitocin, and then we were just waiting. They were sitting me in all these different positions to try to get my cervix to open up faster. Every once in a while I would be in a position and the nurse would come in there and say, we need to move you because her heart rate is just kind of dropping a little bit. Nothing to be alarmed by. We just need to, she doesn't like this side. So then they would flip me onto another side. This was all while I was trying to get some sleep because I had the epidural. I was feeling good, so I was really trying to get as much sleep in as possible. I would say at first it was like every hour they would come in, like, let's rotate, and then it started getting like closer and closer. They started coming in like every 10 minutes, and then that's when it started becoming a little alarming. So they would switch me into a different position. I had the peanut ball. They were trying everything to get her heart rate to stabilize, but every time I would have a contraction, her heart rate started dropping. I think at first I didn't realize that there was like a problem. It seemed like pretty normal to me because they did a good job with not alarming me, but I definitely started to catch on that there was a real issue after the nurse would come in there and just like sit and like stare at the chart that showed my contractions, Sky's heart rate, and all of that. That's when I realized that there was like an actual problem. And at this point I was so freaking exhausted. I was running on like a couple hours of sleep over the course of a couple of days, and I was so tired I could barely hold my eyes open, and I was just like praying that everything was going to get better. It went on for like a few hours, them just turning me, flipping me, and it sounds easy, but like when you have that epidural, it is so hard to like flip over and like get into a position. They would have the nurse and Skylar, they were both flipping me and like putting my legs in these different positions, putting the peanut ball in different positions, and nothing was working. Every single position I was in, her heart rate was still not fixing itself. They did kind of let me know you know, we're gonna monitor this for a little longer, but I just want you to know that it is possible that we might have to go into a C-section. That is when it got really scary for me. So they then checked my cervix a final time to see if I was like really close to being able to start pushing. We were hoping that I was like at a 9, I mean like an 8 or a 9 or something, and then we could have like held it out a little longer. They checked my cervix and I was only dilated to a 6. So I then started feeling really hot and my face was getting all red and I started feeling weird. I started getting a temperature. So then they were thinking that I was getting an infection. So then that was another thing that just wasn't working in our favor. This part sucked because my midwife and my nurses, they knew how bad I wanted a natural vaginal delivery, and I had told them how scared I was to have a C-section and how I was just praying that it didn't have to come to that. They then at that point let us know that we needed to do a C-section and that we needed to do it very quickly. So at that point everything went so fast. It was just like, I mean, so intense. Her heart rate just kept dropping. It was alarming. I was getting an infection and there was just no way that we could wait it out until I was at 10 centimeters ready to push. We need to do this and we need to do this now. They were like, do you guys need a minute? Because I was very emotional. They were like, okay. They stepped out and they gave us like literally 45 seconds. At that point, all the doctors, all the nurses came into the room and they were prepping me for the C-section, and it was terrifying. I was so emotional. There were just so many emotions that hit me all at once. I was upset that it had come to this. I was scared. The feeling that I felt the most was I was terrified that something was going to happen to my daughter, and that that was just like my main thought was I just wanted her to come out and be healthy. I just wanted it over. I wanted her out. I wanted her to be healthy. I wanted to know that I was gonna be okay. I was terrified. It was just a lot. And so I was shaking, like trembling uncontrollably. They literally had to hold my arms down. I had just never felt that many emotions all at once. They then wheeled me into the room. That's when we went through the C-section and our daughter was born. The C-section, I mean, as scary as it wasn't bad. Like, I didn't feel any pain or anything like that. You're completely numb and you just feel like a lot of pressure, but no sharp pains, no stabbing pains is how they explain it. So you can feel all the pressure, all the pulling and the tugging. So that really sucks, and just like knowing what's going on, knowing you're laying there on a table wide open is terrifying. All in all, our daughter came out healthy. She was born at 12:30 a.m. midnight on March 23rd. And just knowing that she was healthy, and once I saw her for the first time, it's just like all the pain, all of the nerves and everything just completely went away. Once my baby girl was healthy and in this world, it just was all worth it, and nothing else in the world matters. Even though my labor and delivery ended up differently than I would have hoped that it would have, it is still, when I look back at the process, it still just was like the most beautiful few days of my entire life. As much as I was hoping to not have a C-section, it still was just an incredible once in a lifetime type of experience, and those are a few days that I will never forget. So that was my birth story. I don't want to get into like postpartum because I do want to do a separate video on my postpartum experience and how that went, how that's still currently going. I'm 8 weeks out right now, so obviously like I'm still going in my postpartum journey, but I do want to do a separate video talking about everything that I felt afterwards, how the recovery went and all of that. For now, I just wanted to share our birth story. If you did enjoy this video, go ahead, give me a thumbs up and share this video to any expecting mamas. Comment down below more videos that you guys do want to see. And Sky is downstairs screaming, babe! Oh, Bubba's, what's wrong? When you think about the whole experience, what?
It's terrifying.